All right, here are three things I wish I knew about singing when I started singing over 20 years ago now. I was singing in public for a long, long time when I had no business singing in public. I went out there with no guidance, no real idea what I was doing, and they put me on a live microphone, and I don't know, rode the lightning rode the lightning for better or worse for the longest time. No real idea what I was doing, just trying to hit notes that I could hear in my head, trying to hit notes that that all my favorite singers were hitting. And it wasn't until recently, only in the last 12 months, have I actually been doing anything you would call like practice or training. And like the amount of power and the amount of control I have in just 12 months is frightening. Frightening me to the point of it slightly devastated me at first because I realized that I'd wasted 19 years of, I could have been doing the work long ago. I could be 20 years into my student journey as a student for vocals. I could have been 20 years in as opposed to 12, but one of my favorite sayings is the best time to plant a tree was 200 years ago. The second best time is today. So if you're in that boat, here's three things I wish I knew when I started. Number one, it's the big one. It's the most important one. It's the one everyone fucking hates. It's the fact that there is no shortcuts. No one wants to hear that. Auto-tune's something. It's fine. There's like it's sound. It has a sound. It has a certain sound that's good for it. It works in some music. Yeah, it'd break your heart to find out all your favorite singers have probably used it at some point. Especially in the metal community. I know you guys know those metalheads like to think that all their favorite artists mean so well, but no. Yeah, Melodyne and Auto-Tune, like they're good. They're good tools for what they are, and I've used them because I had to. I've used them. They definitely have a certain sound, though. Like I can hear it in the early deity stuff. It just has a certain sound. I can tell it's not me. And when the compliments for your singing are coming in, and you've melodined most of it, it's a little bit hollow. I won't lie. And you're kind of waving them off. Oh, thanks very much. I'm just gonna go back and work with this cognitive dissonance you've just given me that my voice is great, knowing that I punched in word after word. I really did. I used to like in the Tabra stuff. If you were unaware, I was in a band called Tabra. I'm getting the stuff back up on Spotify soon, so I'll be plugging them. But yeah, when I was recording the Tabra stuff, it was like 11 in the morning. I hadn't warmed up. I'd go into the booth and just shout, just shouting at a pitch. And that's why all the Tabra stuff is just very monotonous. As you lie, buddy, they grab a bar, like one note, just trying to do it like the wheels could fall off at any point. But yeah, I was going in there and yeah, completely unprepared, punching in words. Like I'd sing lines, and as the session went on, my voice would just be dying. I'd just be punching into words. So I'd just literally be in there, being like, ready, set, go, yeah. Fire! It was, and you can hear it in the results. They're very well produced demos, that Tabra stuff. I'm still very fond of it. So yeah, rule number one, there is no shortcuts. It's the first thing I wish I knew, because 19 years of life went by, and 19 frustrating years of life went by. I was not getting any better, and I was kind of lying to myself. I was lying to myself that I just, could sing what I could sing, and that was it. That you're either born with it or you're not. And yeah, so there are no shortcuts. And yeah, you just got to get in front. You've just got to sing. You've got to find like some tutorials or something. You got to read books, because people have figured this stuff out. You don't have to figure out how to sing. People have already done it. And what really turned it on for me was discovering that one of my favorite singers, Floor Jansen from Nightwish and of her own fame these days as well, solo artist. She has 4 videos. These 4 videos, it's 9 minutes, 25 minutes, 30, 50 minutes. What's the last one? I can't see. It's an hour's worth of content that will, like, listen to her. She can fucking sing. So, like, listen to her, classically trained. If if you're like I was when I was young and you're trying to be a rock god, and all you do is smash beers and chicken parmesans before you go on stage, and your voice dies after the 3rd song, and you know it, and you're upset about it again, but yet you do nothing to change, go and check those videos out, because it's all their knowledge condensed into about an hour. And I basically do the warm-up exercises. This one here, I do that every day, pretty much. I've gotten to the point now where if I don't do it, I actually feel like my day's incomplete. So yeah, warm up with her. You're singing scales, you're singing from different places. The breathing support is pretty, just fucking watch it all. Just watch it all. I'm not going to explain it to you. She already has, and she's definitely in a position to explain it. And I like those warm-ups as well because Tabra actually supported Nightwish, and I heard her do those every night, and I watched her go out on stage every night and be perfect. And if she, I'm sure she wasn't perfect. Like, she would know when she was hitting B notes or whatever. But she always sang her best. And trust me, it was perfect. Rule 9. There's no shortcuts. That's the first thing. Oh, actually, no. One more thing on that. Read and books like this and tutorials are like that. That's all good, but watching them doesn't make you better. You got to do the work. There's no shortcuts. Start now. Just, figure it out. Find a way that you can practice singing every day. So what brings me to number 2 is the idea. People ask me all the time, like, are people born able to sing? And the answer is no. And there's plenty of examples of all your favorite singers and artists out there. They've got early material that they talk about, and they know it's terrible, but you've got to let yourself suck for a little bit, because that you work the muscles, and it'll sound bad at first, but it all comes together. So there's no such thing as a talent. However, there are 2 aspects of singing. There's the body, which is the instrument, the physiological aspect of singing, where your body is the instrument, so you can build the instrument. And then the second aspect of singing is learning how to play the instrument. So that is singing the scales and controlling the air, like posture, all that stuff. So while talent's one thing, I think some people are born physiologically. Perhaps their instrument is quite far along in terms of the build of the instrument, but it's. The fact is, talent is absolutely worthless without hard work. And I think any expert in any profession will probably tell you that. In athletic sports, what's good is talent if you don't work. Like, talent is worthless without work anyway. So if you have talent and you're not working, then you're wasting your time. I truly believe that. And I had another note on this. The work. So that work, you build the body and then learn how to play it. So my mind turned to like being healthy and wondering like what foods ruin the voice. And of course it's all the food and drinks that you find at pubs when you're on gigs. I was literally going out and doing everything wrong. Like everything in the list: drinking, smoking, greasy foods, like overeating, like all that's like not sleeping, like, all this stuff. It listed. It was literally what I did for my entire time working the live circuit with Tabra. It was quite funny. So you got to learn that stuff. Go seek knowledge. Seek knowledge. Ignore whether or not you can sing today. That's not a factor. Like, what, today you practice. and then eventually all the work kind of sinks in, and I find myself in moments now where I'm singing along to stuff that I know for a fact I couldn't sing a year ago. And at the second I realize I'm doing it, all of a sudden I can't. Like, you really need to... You just need to you need to learn all of the tricks, not tricks, but just learn the positions, learn how to breathe, and then forget you know it. It's the strangest thing. And I talk to other singers and they say the same, like, if you're thinking, you're stinking. And yeah, you've just got to let yourself sing, let yourself just sing the note, be damned how it sounds. And that's where the good stuff really seems to come for me these days. I'm singing in like full takes. And yeah, it's wonderful. Like, all the work sort of sinks in after, and you don't even notice it until you do. So that's number 2. There's no such thing as talent. You can learn to sing. Asterisks. You can learn to sing. You might not have a nice voice, but it's your instrument. And not having a nice voice, that brings me to my third thing I wish I knew when I'd started is, everyone is a different instrument, so that you will come across songs that just aren't for you. And if you're anything like me, when I was young, I idolized hedonists. But, in my defense, they were glorified and sensationalized and romanticized. So when you're a kid growing up, and if you're, watching any media, we didn't call it content back then. It was just called TV, magazines, all that garbage. They idolized these hedonists, and all of the terrible behavior that we're currently appalled at was kind of glory. When I was growing up, it was romanticized and sensationalized. So I didn't idolize people that just did the work. I thought being in a band was all about partying and staying young forever, which is a fucking dumb mode of being. So I hope I'm not the first one telling you that. But where was I? Yeah, some songs just aren't for you. Like and off those great records, that was a moment in time. That was one take. That was 3.5 minutes. Like, Hole in the Sky, Black Sabbath, Ozzy's vocals on that are just sensational. But he wasn't going out and sounding like that every single night, or every second night, or every third night. That's a moment in time. It's a great vocal take, but that kind of lifestyle, you can't aim for that, is what I'm saying. So you will just find some songs that aren't for you. I cannot for the life of me sing Brian Johnson songs, the second singer of AC/DC. I struggle with the Bon stuff, but Bon was another one of those singers that just... he just went for it, and it was fantastic. It was perfect in the moment, in the time, and those records will live forever. Not only because they're good, but also because of the gigantic marketing machine behind them. But Bon, those were great vocal takes. That was, a 4-minute burst in the studio between whatever. So yeah, you've got to understand that if you're seeking to sing like Dio in Stargazer, you can do the work, and you might, but you won't always sound like these people, which is, I think, a good thing. Lots of people go down the impersonator path, and I don't know, there's a time limit on that stuff. You might have 1 or 2 great albums, but in the end, if it's evolve or die. Like, for the love of God, do we need another Airborne album? We already had Running Wild. It was perfect. The second album wasn't bad either, but for God's sake, like, give us something different. I think that's a different blog. I hate to pick on Airborne. I'm always picking on Airborne. I don't know why. Well, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, everyone's a different instrument. So the good news is you are also a unique instrument. So if you do the work, learn to sing, build your instrument as strong as it can be, and put the time in, you yourself might become a unique and interesting singer. That's the good thing. Don't try and be Robert Plant. Don't try and be Bon Scott. You just put what you've got into it, and all the parts that aren't as good as the people you like is what makes you unique. I think I've stolen that. I think I stole that from Johannes from Avatar, the band. But if I did steal it, then it's still true, whether I stole it or not. So yeah, emulate your heroes by all means, but enjoy the things that make you you. And yeah, I don't know, go out, like, put the work in and go out to like karaoke nights or something, and show it off a little bit. And I think you'd probably be pleasantly surprised. People enjoy a voice. Some of the best singers aren't even that good singers, but they're in it. Like Bob Dylan's he's the overused example, but he's a perfect example. So, I sang a long time before learning how, and now I'm starting to get a grasp. I think I know I've been in music a long time. You're always a student, but it's super exciting. And I do implore you, if you wish to sing, I wanted to sing well my whole life. I loved singers. I loved front men. I loved front women. I listened to Aretha Franklin. I just wonder how, a voice can give me such a reaction where you go, oh, I love singing. And it was incredibly frustrating not being able to for the longest time. But it's like your mama always said, like, eat your vegetables, get healthy. Like, it's the same with singing. And I'm at the point now where I really enjoy singing because I can more often than not do what I try to do, and it's opened up my creativity so much because instead of going into a vocal booth, fearing what is, like, am I going to be able to do anything with this time? I can come in and muck around now. It's wonderful. It's so much more fun and fulfilling and so much more better results. So much more better results. And you get better quick too. It's like once you get the work in, you get a bit of the breathing happening, like you just shoot up the learning curve like crazy. I did a fair bit of learning before I released A Terrible Fate. And by the time A Terrible Fate was out, I'm already listening to it going, I can do so much better than that. Even though I know it was a great leap up on Power, Wisdom, Courage, which was a leap up on before. But I'm all like, you'll just like take off. So get to work. I have nothing else for you other than that. Get to work. Check out these. Shout out to my man Berkey who lent me this book, which is awesome. It's it takes you through everything. It takes you through how the voice works, as what's going on with your breath. There's beautiful diagrams of. I was just looking at them. Yeah, it's full of this. It looks like a medical journal, but you got to understand it's singing is physiological. It's it's something you're built to do as a human. That's a beautiful part about learning about singing. You realize we are just an instrument. And enjoy your singing. And yeah, you got to do the work, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I'm going to get off because we're closing in on 20 minutes. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Maybe a like and subscribe, and all that YouTube nonsense. I'm running out of words. I'm going to cut it here. All right, thanks, and I'll catch you on the next one.